Hello, hello. Welcome, Brenda. Welcome, Ross. Thank you guys for being here. If you can hear me, just type a little chat there. Say, hey, Seppi, in the chat box if you can, just so I know you're here, and we'll get started shortly. I'm Seppi Bazazi. I'm the marketing manager here at Realty Ninja. We may have spoken via email or on the phone, or we may in the future. Hey, Ross. Awesome. Good to hear. Brenda, we're going to get started anyways, and hopefully you're listening in. But if you want to pop in and say hello, that would be awesome. So the purpose of today's webinar is to basically go over what to do after you've launched your site. So launching your site means making it active under your domain, your .com or .ca, or what have you. And so after that, there's the common misconception that you can just kind of set it and forget it. And I'm here to show you today that it's not just about setting it or just about getting a site online. There's a few steps to take care of and few ways to optimize your site on and off. So today I'm just going to do a quick intro, and then we're going to talk about the on-site optimization tactics. Hey, Brenda, thanks a lot for checking in. And then we're going to talk about off-site, and I'll get into what those mean shortly. And then after that, we're going to talk about how you can continue your education on yourself and what kind of resources that we give you. And then we're going to do a quick Q&A. I mean, you can ask questions as we go throughout this webinar. But at the end, if you have any random questions that are just marketing related, that kind of popped into your head another time that you've been saving to ask somebody, please feel free. I'm more than happy to kind of answer any modern marketing or digital marketing questions that you may have. So again, this slide just kind of reiterates what I was saying. This webinar is going to show you how to get the most out of your Realty Ninja website, or at least how to get started with the best foot forward. I'm going to send you a copy of this recording and these slides at the end. So feel free to just kind of listen and watch, or if you want to take notes of your own, you can, but I'm going to send you the slides as they are. Okay, so a couple important questions before you begin. So asking yourself who this website's for. I'm not going to read this whole entire thing, but one thing we talk about in all of our marketing mediums, from ebook to our blog and even on the phone with clients and stuff, is it's really important to define your target audience. When you know who you're catering your approach to, you're catering your marketing message to, it's a lot easier to reach them than to just be, the Vancouver realtor who's trying to reach everybody from Burnaby to Squamish and, appeal to every market and every type of person. That person, I mean, that's kind of the typical approach. That's not the ninja approach, as we call it. We'd rather you be the big fish in a small pond, where, let's say I was actually on a Realty Ninja client site today, and she was the pet friendly realtor. She has a domain called the Pet Friendly Realtor. So she actually takes this approach of helping people find homes that are perfect for them and their pet needs and whatnot, because that can be a challenge. And so she's kind of set a niche. That might be very, very a very tight niche. So you might want to step back and make it a little bit more broad, but defining your target is very important. And then, as with any marketing, the next question is asking yourself, what are the goals of the website? Anytime I'm putting together a marketing strategy, or putting together a website or anything that's business or marketing related, the first question I always ask either myself or the client is, what is the objective? What do we want this to do? And I know a lot of people sign up for websites thinking it's a lead generator, and I think that it's a tool to get leads, absolutely, but it's not necessarily generating them out of thin air. And so if your goal is to set up a website and next month be getting 20 leads from it, I'd say that that's not very realistic. But if you're setting up a website and saying, you know what, I'm going to dedicate X number of hours into this, and I'm going to get these things out of it. I want to get one lead out of it, a few people reaching out to me every week via my website, whether it's via email or phone, etc. And then when you have these goals in mind, then you can design your website around those goals. If your goal is to get people to enter your Facebook contest, we got to put that front and center. If your goal is to get people to subscribe to your mailing list so you can communicate with them later, that we got to make that front and center on the website. And so the website really needs to have your goals in mind. It doesn't have to be one goal, it can be multiple. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, we've split this webinar up into two columns. One would be on-site, the other being off-site. On-site means things that you can do on your actual website, like ways to optimize your website in order to kind of make it more awesome, keep people there longer, keep attracting the right people, and keep sending people to the right places on the site. Offsite tactics is a little bit different. It's things you can do outside of your own website to market your website, to send people back to your website. So like on-site is making your site awesome. Off-site is sending people to that awesome website. And so without further ado, let's just dive into the on-site website optimization tactics. These bullets are here, and I'm just kind of going to talk to them. And the first thing I always tell everybody is blogging and content. No matter what industry you're in, if it's real estate or the restaurant industry or whatever, when you're engaging in digital marketing, be that website, social media, or mailing list, or what have you, content is like the meat of it. Content is king. I'm sure you've heard that before. And so, making sure that you've got a clear content strategy, whether that's with blogging, creating resources for home buyers and sellers, creating resources for your potential audience or potential customers of the future, whatever it is, it's you're creating value for those people, and they come to your site nowadays for value. And then while they're there, they're thinking to themselves, "Oh, what a great realtor." And so one little trick that that I've found, not come up with, this is actually a psychological um, trigger, is creating content that is helpful, unique, novel, or new. And so those are the four kind of psychological triggers for people to make people pay attention to things. So I've shortened it into HUN, and it's a nice little reminder for me every time I'm blogging or every time I'm creating a resource or an ebook or even doing this webinar. Is it helpful? I hope so. Is it unique? Most likely. Is it novel? I don't think it's really a novelty webinar, but it is a new webinar. So this webinar falls into 3 of those 4 categories. And so that makes me pretty happy. But yeah, blogging, I mean, creating this content, the last bullet here says 60% of marketers say blog content creation is their top inbound marketing priority. Inbound marketing means creating stuff on your website that gets people coming into your website. And so creating blog content that's rich with keywords, for instance, if you're talking about your own community. We've got a client, Craig Veroni, who's doing a 30-day video series where every day he's showing one of his favorite places in North Vancouver. And he's like actually interviewing the staff and stuff like that. Well, he's hosting those videos on his website. He's putting captions on them. He's writing a blurb about them. And that's all going to be part of his inbound strategy to bring people to his website. This is an example of Katie Burkhardt's website, who's one of our customers. She's been blogging like crazy, and we know that Katie Burkhardt actually we speak to her regularly, and we know she collects tons of leads from her website. And it's obviously not just because of the blog. I mean, obviously she also has many other marketing channels that she's using, but the blog is helpful. And if you see here, she's been consistent. I've only got the screenshot up to January 2016, but it even goes into 2015 where she was blogging at least once or twice a month. And you can see the volumes aren't huge, but it still makes an impact for attracting people, for attracting inbound traffic. Moving on to the next slide. The next on-site optimization I want to talk about is unique descriptions on your MLS pages and listing descriptions. And so the thing with listings, like if you've signed a reciprocity agreement with your board, your listing, or all those listings that are showing up on your website that belong to all the other agents, they are also appearing on thousands of other places on the internet. So they're not unique to your website. And because they're not unique to your website, because that content is essentially being plagiarized, in thousands of other websites, Google and Bing and Yahoo, these search engines are not going to give you any kind of benefit because you're showing these listings. The only time these listings are going to start earning you some benefit is if they're not exactly the same as all the other ones. And so let's say you put your listing up on MLS, and within an hour or so, it's automatically up on your Realty Ninja page as well, because you've entered your agent ID in your page and automatically pulls your listing. Now, it also goes on to every other agent's site. If you've signed reciprocity, it's also going out there on all the other agent sites with the same description, the same photos, the same everything. And so if you go, when you're on your Realty Ninja site, you can log into your Realty Ninja site, and you can go to that listing that belongs to you, and you can customize it. And so you just go in and edit the listing. You can add a unique description. You can beef up the description a little bit. You can add rich media. You can attach PDFs and stuff like that, and add video and photos. So you can make the listing unique on your website only. It won't be unique anywhere else, just on your site. That way, the search engines can actually give you some credit for it as a piece of content. And as for the MLS pages as well, like with the Realty Ninja sites, at the top of your MLS pages, so let's say you've got a page for North Vancouver homes for sale under $500,000. At the top of that page, before the actual listings show up, you have a little area where you could enter a photo, you could embed a video, you could write a little blurb or a little description. And so that's going to give you a huge boost as well, because that same MLS search page could be found on not only just thousands of regular sites, but even on a bunch of other Realty Ninja sites. And so if you, just by adding that little photo, that little blurb, it's going to make your listing page stand out completely, not only to visitors who are actually, there looking at it with their own eyes, but to the figuratively speaking spiders that crawl the internet for search engines and find content. And so here's an example of, I think this is Craig Veroni's site. At the top, he's got all these little searches like Cole Harbor and a whole bunch of other niche little areas in Vancouver. And at the top of all these pages, he hasn't put a whole bunch of time writing like, an essay or anything over here. It's just a little kind of 1 or 2 sentence paragraph with a nice photo. And that just changes this whole page up so much. And, then he's got his niche search set up for Cole Harbor. So if you guys ever need help doing stuff like this, please let us know. You can always just email us and we can set that up for you. All right, next thing, proper keyword and alt tag usage. And so keywords are, they tell search engines and people what your content is all about. And so keywords, they are in everything. They are in every piece of writing on your website, and they're on your blog, they're all over your blog posts. Anywhere that there's any words, there could be keywords. And so it's kind of up to you to think about what the keywords are. Again, who are you targeting to? What is your objective? Going back to those first 2 questions we asked. And then what do you need to say? What are those keywords that those people are searching for? What does my audience need? And then how do I include those keywords in my website so that it attracts them? And not just keywording, but alt tags as well. Alt tags are a type of keyword. It stands for alternate text. And it is like, let's say you go to a website and you see an image. When you scroll your mouse over that image, sometimes a little block of text appears over the image, which kind of describes what that image is about. And so that's the alternate text. That's the alt tag that's associated with that image. Our search engines these days are pretty powerful, and they're pretty robust, and they can actually almost read images. Like they can actually almost look at an image and go, oh, that's a house, or oh, that's an apple. However, they can't look at all of your images, and they can't look at your listing photos and say, oh, that's the house located at 1234 such and such drive. It just knows that it's a house. So adding, like the address to your listing photos, alt tags, that's really going to help search engines make it more of a relevant photo, not just a house photo, but a photo of a house in North Vancouver that's for sale or whatever. Or also, they don't know us. Like they don't know who, Brenda Patton. It might not look at a photo of you, Brenda, and think Google's like, oh, that's Brenda Patton, of course, because it's just not that sophisticated yet, which is kind of a good thing because that's kind of creepy. But if they're not there, and so if you've got a photo of yourself on the site, you might want to add some alt text that describes the photo, describes what is happening in the photo, or if it's just a photo of you, it could be Brenda Patton, award-winning realtor, and that at least gives that photo a description. And the last thing is beware, don't try and trick search engines by keyword stuffing. Keyword stuffing is when, like, back in the days, before advanced algorithms and stuff, people would try to trick search engines by recoloring the font color on a web page to the same color as the background of the web page, and then they would just type a bunch of keywords. And so there would be this long blank space, and if you highlighted it, you could see that it was a bunch of text. But otherwise, it was just white text over a white background. And what they were trying to achieve was to try and put all the right keywords that they wanted to pull Google's and Bing's and all the search engines to show them higher, because, oh, apparently these guys have better keywords. But the thing is, search engines have come a long way since the 90s, and they're as smart as people in a way. And so if you're writing for people and if you're keywording things for people, search engines will appreciate that. If you try and trick search engines, they're going to blacklist you potentially, depending on how big of a kind of a scam you're running. or they could just put negative points on your SEO. It's so easy for them to do that. And so you just don't need any of that extra difficulty. SEO is hard enough. Don't make it harder for yourself. On your Realty Ninja site, when you're in edit mode, which you can see in the background here, you can see we're in edit mode, and this is like a photo of Katie Burkhardt. When we scroll over the photo, you can click a little gear icon. There's a little gear, like cog. And so when you click that, then the alternate text area pops open. You can type your alternate text, save it, and you're off to the races. That's as easy as that. Next thing is the About Us and testimonials, a place where I think a lot of people overlook the importance of. One of the main reasons that people are actually browsing real estate agent websites is to get to know the person behind the brand. I visit personally hundreds of realtor websites every week, and so many of the sites I don't even find out what the person's name is because the domain doesn't say their name. The About section is coming soon. There are no testimonials. There's no links to their social media. You're really hard pressed to find out who you're even on the website of. And so, unless you're going for that approach, unless your approach is to be more of a branded team than an individual realtor, that fine, I get that. But otherwise, if you want to be, but even then, your team, people want to know about your team. They want to know about the testimonials. They want to know who's on your team. They want to see transparency in your marketing these days. And so the About Us and the testimonials, they're a great area for you to, include video, include some photos of you with family, you and pets, you from your Instagram. Maybe you had, a nice night at the farmer's market the other day in your community. These are great ways to beef up your About Me page, because if you think about it, people are trying to get there and potentially make the biggest transaction of their lives, or one of. And it's not just a matter of, oh, this house is great or whatever. It's a matter of, who am I dealing with to make this my reality, because I'm going to be dealing with them probably for the next month or whatever. And who are they? And so in this day and age, people want to see a little bit more, and the more you give them, the more they're going to love you right off the bat. This is an example of just a very basic, I love this About Me page. It gives you everything that you need it to give you. It's got a nice photo. I still think you can go way over and above this, like including video, even more photos. Maybe, I love the professional headshots. I think those are absolutely necessary, but when you want people to learn about you, maybe a professional headshot, in your work attire is not the best photo to give them an image of who you are necessarily. So maybe you include some photos that are just of you and friends, or in casual times or whatever, just so people can see that you're a real person. You have put your pants on one leg at a time, and you just happen to be really good at real estate and really good at connecting with people. So don't overlook this section of your website. It's very important, and try and get creative. And last but not least, for the on-site optimization tactics, before we move on to off-site, is call to actions. With Realty Ninja, we've designed our website themes in a way that we put call to actions up front and center, because we know they're important, because we know that without actually directing the traffic on your site anywhere, people could just lose interest and run away, because not everybody's interested in scanning through your entire navigation bar to find out what are every page on this person's website. They get there, they have limited attention. This is the attention economy, and they're giving you a piece of their attention, and it's up to you, to actually guide them to where they want to go. They think they know what they want to know, but they don't know. They get there and they're looking for your real estate experience and your wisdom to help guide them. So include very clear call to actions. So 1, 2, or 3 of the most important things to do on your website. This goes back to the first question again. Who is your target audience? What is your main objective? When you have those 2 questions answered, it's really easy to set up call to actions that cater to that objective. Contact you is even a call to action. Getting people to just reach out, pick up the phone, click a button, enter their email address, download something, view a certain page, enter a Facebook contest. All of these things are objectives, and they can be kind of optimized by adding a call to action right on the homepage. And so here's an example of Thomas Chung's homepage, and he's actually got 5 really clear call to actions here below his actual main navigation bar. And so there's 5 of them, but there are pretty much only 2 of them if you really think about it. because we've got one where it's received the free monthly market report. And so I'm assuming that's like you click here and you fill in, well, I'm not assuming, I know that you click here and you fill in your email address and then you receive the market report. Regarding these bottom four here, they're all MLS searches. And so, they're just different areas, downtown, Cole Harbour, Yaletown, West End. These are different areas in Vancouver, but they're all just MLS searches. And so when you click the West End one, it's just a preset search for the West End in MLS, and you can search all the properties. Now, this goes to show me that what Thomas wants you to do is to use his website to browse real estate in these areas. These are his niche areas. He wants to align himself with these areas, and he's saying, here, go do an MLS search in these four areas. And then his other objective is give me your email address. And so, with the MLS search, you just go and search for listings. You browse listings on his beautiful Ninja site. Or when you click the main call to action in his actual banner, you can actually submit your email address. And at that point, then you're in his, in his database or CRM, and he can reach out to you until you decide to leave that database or buy something from him. So this is his strategy, is to get you searching, aligning himself with these neighborhoods, and getting your email address. If none of these call to actions were here, it would be a lot harder for people to find the market report, I would imagine. So keep these call to actions in mind. And moving on, off-site website optimization tactics. And so sending traffic, a few tricks to send traffic to your Ninja site. So one thing that I love, and the title of this is Optimize Bio on Broker Site and Directories, but there's actually more to it, because what I really want to focus on here is backlinks. And so optimizing your bio on broker sites or directories, like Rank My Agent or Zoho or what have you, make sure you include a link back to your website. That backlink coming from a respected and authoritative domain, so such as, like, let's say Realtor.com. If you've got a broker bio or an agent bio on Realtor.com, Realtor.com or Realtor.ca is a very popular website that gets tons and tons of traffic. So if you go and you make sure that your website URL is listed on your bio, including some info about you, a photo, or whatever they allow, that's going to mean you get a backlink to your site from Realtor.ca. Now, that backlink, Google looks at it and goes, ooh, look at this. A fancy site that gets millions of hits every month is linking to Ross's website. And so that gives you SEO boost, and that gives you authority. What it's called is domain authority. And so you want to build that up, and that doesn't happen overnight. It takes years and years and years. And Facebook has major domain authority. It's probably one of the most authoritative websites on the internet, but it wasn't when it started in 2004 or 2005. And so it takes years and years and years. A realtor site is never going to be the most prominent authoritative site on the internet, but it can be more authoritative and prominent than all the other realtor sites in that neighborhood. And one of the really strong ways to get that authority is backlinks. And so optimizing your bio, that's awesome. Wherever you can, wherever you have access to, put your link to your site. If you work with other realtors and they want to recommend you because they work in certain areas that you don't cover and vice versa, maybe get them to drop a link to your website on their website and offer to do the same thing. Same thing with suppliers and vendors. Like if you work with lawyers, moving companies, photographers, aerial drone videographers, whatever, get all those guys to add links to your website on their website and do a trade-off, and explain to them backlinks are important. You're getting a little bit of love from our site. We're getting love from your site. It's a win-win situation, and they'll do it. And another, way, if some people are more reluctant, but you can see that they're more reluctant to just add add a link to their page or their site. But you see that, they do tend to blog, for instance. What you can do is write a blog post for them, something that is in line with what they already write a guest post, and send it to them and say, hey, I noticed your blog, speaks to this and this. I thought I would contribute because I have a lot to say on the topic. Here's my article. And in that article at the bottom, you have a link to your own website. You say, written by Ross Mantell, www.rossmantell.com. And so when they publish that guest blog on their site, it's still got a backlink to your website. And it's another tactic. You're not just going and asking for something, you're going and giving them something and saying, here's my value to you. Would you mind publishing it for me? And when they publish it, you get some love too. Next, social media publishing and engagement. Um, this is something, I mean, I have a lot of experience in. I started my career in social media marketing in like 2009, fresh out of college, and things were, a lot different back then. And, they've just continued to evolve and grow at such a rapid rate. But there's two still even today, 8 years later, there's still two broad categories that I see. And one of them is the publishing category, and another one is the engagement category. And this is regarding business, of course, not like personal Facebook, or personal social media, but um, publishing refers to basically just publishing anything on your social media channels. Whether it's what you ate yesterday, or your new listing, or how you're feeling this morning, or whatever it is that you publish on social media that goes out there to the world. That's publishing. Engagement, on the other hand, is um, communicating through already published media. And so things that are already published on social media, not just on your page, but going out and engaging with those pieces of content, with the publishers of that content. That's engagement. And by engagement, it means commenting, clicking on stuff, liking pages, following people's Twitter, following people on Instagram, watching their stories on Snapchat and Instagram. Like the list goes on. It's all engagement. It's consumption, basically. But for business sake, I call it engagement because you actually don't just consume. You go there to consume for a purpose. The purpose is you watch a video and then you respond with a comment. And when you respond with a comment, it puts your brand now out there on social media. So the point of doing this is when you're publishing on your own channel. But when you're engaging, you're not necessarily just engaging on your own channel. You can go engage on everybody's channel. And so if there's like 10 restaurants that you love, in your community, go to all their Facebook pages, and as your Facebook page, like their page, comment on their stuff. If you're a regular somewhere, be a regular on their social media too. Engage with tons of other brands. Before you know it, people who are, let's say there's the local cafe that everybody loves, and you're engaging with that cafe via the Facebook page, as Brenda Patton Realtor. And so now, 1,000 people a week are engaging with that cafe's page, and every week they're seeing comments from Brenda Patton Realtor that are either funny or engaging or just connecting with the community. So you're branding yourself. This is essentially branding over and over again. They're seeing your name, and it's free. All it takes is just a few, keystrokes and some time. But it can be really, really powerful if you actually weave this kind of engagement into your brand. Um, it's not, it's just can't just an afterthought. Like I tell people to set it up in your calendar, set reminders every day. Okay, engage with 4 brands, publish 1 article, but engage with 5 brands, like something like that, so that it's actually on your to-do list for the day. It's a real part of your business. After a month of engaging with 5 people, you've engaged with 150 people, or 150 times. That's a lot of impact. That's a lot of footprint out there for you. And so, not to say publishing is not important. Publishing is super important. And, turning your content from a listing video into a blog post and a Facebook post, and a tweet, and using your content and publishing in different places, I think that's excellent. But a really overlooked component of social media is the engagement component. Right now, we are in the middle of a time where so much is being published all the time. And I've mentioned this earlier, we're in the attention economy. And so even when you're watching Netflix, Netflix's job is to make sure you're watching the things you want to watch. It's not even giving you the options to watch the things it doesn't think you want to watch. It just shows you the things it wants you to watch because it wants your attention. That's what it's selling. And so is, Facebook and social media, whatever. And so when you're publishing things, you're asking for a piece of people's attention. That's not always easy to achieve. And that's not always going to happen, and it might let you down sometimes. But when you're engaging with people, you're giving them attention. You're going out there, you're not asking for attention, you're contributing to the attention economy by providing attention to other people. People love this. This is so much more powerful than just publishing your listings. Like I'm willing to bet money that if you started a real estate agent today from scratch, 2 of them, and told one of them, okay, every day share all of your listing photos, and told the other one, every day go and engage with all the other brands in your neighborhood and network and community, I bet you the second realtor would be more successful, have more leads, more quality leads at the end of the month. Something to think about. And last offsite is paid traffic versus organic traffic. So the difference between these things is organic traffic has no advertisement behind it. Paid traffic is boosted with advertisements. And I'm sure you already knew that. But really what goes beyond it is the understanding of what makes organic traffic work and then turning that organic traffic into paid traffic to get the most bang for your buck. Because let's say you want to create a, let's for argument's sake, it's a home evaluation form is what your content is. Okay. Now that's not a super unique piece of content. I've seen home evaluation forms on 50% of real estate agents' websites. It's even an option for Realty Ninja customers. Like if you want it, you just let us know and we can activate that form on your site. And so let's say I just take that, it's got no extra features. At the top, there's a paragraph of writing and then there's a form below. And I share that on my Facebook page. Now, maybe let's say one or two people engage with it, and it's been a week and nobody's even filled out the form. Like one person liked it, another person clicked it, and nobody's filled out the form. And so now you're going, okay, you know what? Let's boost this with ads. Sure, okay, go for it, but that's not going to help because at the end of the day, when you're boosting it for ads, all you're doing is saying, here, look at this thing I made to new people, not just your current audience. You're going, hey, look at this, and you're paying to get the eyeballs of new people. But if the thing you're promoting, if the thing you're putting advertising dollars behind is pretty like average at best, you're still not going to convert. It's still not going to get people signing up. Sure, you might get one person filling out a home evaluation form, but who knows if they're even a qualified lead, if they're even going to go anywhere. Um, for me, I'd focus on creating the kind of content, the kind of resources that do well organically. That when you share them on your Facebook page, people start sharing them on their own profiles. Remember that HUN, is it helpful, unique, novel, or new? Try and make it match all four of those things when you're creating that content, when you're creating that blog post, that you want to send traffic to. You can create this stellar blog post. At the bottom of it, it's got, a landing page, a form where people can submit their email address. The article itself, contains a downloadable little PDF if they want to download it. It's got great photos. It's got an embedded video. It's super local. It's great information for the community. So people see that and they're loving it. They're already sharing it with their friends because it makes them feel like they know something smart. So they're sharing it to their profiles and whatnot. And then this piece of content, you go, wow, this thing's doing great. I haven't even put $5 into it. Let's try putting $20 into it and see what happens. That's the key you're looking for. When you've got a success on organic traffic, boost the heck out of it and make it do even better because it's already proven that it's doing well. People love it and you haven't paid for it to put it in front of people. So when you pay to put it in front of people, those people are going to love it too. My point here is don't think that paid traffic is the solution. Don't go and drop 50 grand in your first year of your website advertising, Ross Mantel Realtor, because I'll tell you right now, nobody cares about Ross Mantel Realtor. They don't want to see your name at the top there. If they don't know you, if you're just showing up out of nowhere for people because they typed, Calgary Realtor and then some name shows up as an ad, that's not providing value to them. They don't, get anything out of that. Try and think how you can provide value and create your advertisements that way. Excuse me, just need a sip of water. Okay, this is my favorite slide and probably the most important of them all. This is where I feel like it separates the winners, from the not so winners. It's consistency. I like to believe that we're quite consistent at Realty Ninja with our, customer service, with our blogging, with our marketing, with everything that we do. We try to be super consistent, and it's been paying off really well. And we've only seen kind of the dividends of that after about a year of pounding the ground. And that was about, like at the beginning of this year is when we really started to see the effects of the previous whole 12 months of blogging and, engaging on social media and having phone calls with agents and talking to people, learning about what, the needs are and everything. And all of that really came to, we started to see the fruits of our labor a year later. So I'm just saying that to you so you understand that social media is kind of magical. And digital marketing is kind of a cool and exciting new medium, but it doesn't mean that it's an instantaneous victory. And there is no such thing as lead generation. Like, I don't even like that term. What about lead generation through social media? Well, it takes time, it takes work. It doesn't happen by just having a Facebook page. I'm on Twitter. Why is nobody tweeting me? Because you're not saying anything. Because you haven't put any work into it. And so, similar to being a real estate agent, if you start being like so many young realtors start being realtors in Vancouver these days because they think it's easy money. And they think, oh, I'm a realtor. I sell one house. These houses are like $6 million. Well, guess what, buddy? Nobody's listing a $6 million house with a 22-year-old who just graduated from their, program. And so it takes them time to build their reputation, to learn, the ins and outs, to learn who are the sharks, to learn how to market themselves. And so the same is absolutely true on digital marketing. The medium is different. It's not traditional anymore, but it's all the same. It's a multi-year process. Nobody strikes gold overnight, and you gotta keep at it if you want to outlast your competition. And 10 years from now, you're going to be glad that you got started as soon as now, because the consumers of the world are changing. The world is changing. The people are changing. People communicate differently. People are born now with like iPads into their hands. It's something I can't even comprehend. Like, I remember my old computer labs at school. Well, they're like iPad labs now, and soon they're going to surpass us by so much. We really need to stay on the cutting edge. Like, virtual reality is coming now, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. And it's like, okay, well, do we want to get on that as well? And making sure you can stay consistent with it, because everything's going to be changing. It's all constantly moving. So it's really up to us to stay ninja altogether. And just so you know, we're always here to help you. We've got our ebook series, which part 3 is coming really soon this year. I'm actually kind of grinding our designers to finish the design of it. But we've got the ebook part 1 and 2, which is the modern mindset, and part 2 is modern websites, SEO, and blogging. And so lots of great info in there. And then the dojo, which is our blog, I'm going to be updating it today after this webinar, but we like to update it about once a week. And it's always got something educational. I try to always kind of inform or educate or somehow inspire agents to kind of do better, do more. I look at the marketing world around us, not just in real estate, and I see what kind of awesome things are happening out there. And then I want to try and bring that over to you guys, to the agents, because I feel like this is such an industry that's ripe for doing some awesome marketing. And if you're working with the ninjas, we want to make sure we've got you supported. So, please download the ebook, the blog, subscribe. Receive our. I'm sure you guys are already on our list, and so you'll receive our emails. And as always, if you have any questions, you know where we are, and now is no exception. So please, if you have any questions at all, type them in the chat, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And if not, if you guys are all done, you can also head out, and I'll just send you an email with the file and the video. So feel free to leave the room if you're done for the day. My pleasure. Thank you for being here. Nice. Good. Yeah, totally. That's a great thing to take away. For sure. And yeah, and don't forget those questions too in the beginning of what is my objective, right? And maybe in the phase 1, it's to build brand awareness. Maybe that's just the main objective for now. And don't make it about leads. And if leads happen, then great. But you want to kind of grow your brand awareness. I think that's an awesome objective. I mean, everybody thinks about leads because that's what it's all about. But there are so many parts of the funnel. Leads is just one of them, and like awareness is a big one. Getting people to be aware of you is a really big part of your funnel, and you can't actually turn them into a lead if you don't have a good awareness phase. So yeah, I think it is important to think about leads, but it's, in order for sure. How do we find out how many people are on our site? What you want is Google Analytics. And so I'll just pull up the link and send it to you, but I believe it's just google.com/analytics. And I'll explain this in a second. Excuse me. So Google Analytics is like the kind of premier free tool for tracking website visitors, website traffic, and their behavior on your website. It honestly has so many little bells and whistles and trinkets that I don't even like. I'm not well versed at using it 100%. I use it for the things that I need to use it for, and so I've worked my way around. But it can tell you so much data about how long people are staying on your website, what pages they arrived at, what pages they left on, what's the bounce rate, meaning did people arrive at your site and leave without visiting any other pages? What are the most popular pages on your site in terms of length of time? What are the most popular pages on your site in terms of visits? Unique visitors, like I could ramble on forever, but it's got every information that you need is in there. And so all you really need to do is sign up for the account, and then you email us the code. They give you a code, and it's the analytics universal analytics code. And so we'll just plug. We've got a spot in your Realty Ninja site in the settings that says enter your Google Analytics ID. And so you could do that yourself, or you can just send it to us, and then we will plug that in for you. And then you need to log into the Google Analytics to check. It's basically your analytics dashboard. It's like your software to check how the website's doing. And so you can like set a date range. You could say, I want to see my all-time statistics, or I want to see just this week, or just the last 24 hours, or whatever. And then you can compare it to like last year this time. How was my traffic? And so, um, but obviously it doesn't pull your historic traffic. It only starts pulling your traffic from the moment you enter the code into your site and sign up for the account. From that moment on, if that's today, starting from today and for the life of your website, it's going to track all the analytics. And that analytics actually helps you buy advertisements and stuff like that too, because you get to learn a lot about your customers. What kind of browsers are they using? It tells you what area, demographics, like geographic area are they coming from, what their age is, are they majority female or male? There's so much. And like, what are the sources of your traffic? Is it mostly from social media, from organic search, paid ads, email, like etc. So really recommend it. Question. Wow is right. Totally. When we are loading SEO meta tags, etc. I did not understand all about the Google stuff. Should I try and fill out? Well, okay, so with if I like with meta tags and stuff, they're not as important as you think they are. You can go add a few meta tags. We recommend you keep it at 5. But the search engines have evolved so much over the years that meta tags were more a thing they used to use 5+ years ago. Not to say they don't account for anything, they just account for so much less now because the algorithms of the search engines can understand so much more from your content. So they don't need to look at those like 5 or 10 tag words that you told the site. And so I would focus more on getting the pages full of content, and getting your blog loaded with articles, and getting your pages loaded with words and text that is relevant to the pages. So the alt tags are great. It gives your images some keywords, and just keywording throughout the body. If you don't have meta tags, like it's not the break the bank thing in SEO. If you want to still go add them, that's totally cool. You can also just email us and say, hey, can you add these for me as my meta tags? And we can do that for you. Does that answer your question? Sorry. Okay, perfect. No problem. Anything else? You have about 1 more minute here, and then we're going to call it a day. I'm always available as well if you guys just want to email seppi@realtyninja.com. It's SEPY at realtyninja.com. If you have any random marketing related questions and stuff, I'm always happy to help you guys out. Or if you just email info@ or support@realtyninja and just say, hey, Seppi, someone will just trigger it over to me anyway. So um, my community target audience is retirees. Anything different for them? Thanks for everything. For retirees, hey, um, that's interesting. I mean, the thing with retirees is the first thing you think of is they're not probably the most active social media, people out there. And so, I would try and more so focus on email with those guys because I think that email's been around for so long that it's almost a second, like it's like mail. It's like a mailbox at their house. It's like a second mailbox. It's no longer. It's not a hard thing to use. Everybody, retirees and seniors, when they worked, and professionally, they used email, and so they might have also used fax machines, but they used email, and so I would try and get their emails, by building a list. So you could try Mailchimp. Um, this is the software that we use to create our mailing list. And so, with that, you could try and create a mailing list and make things simple, big text, big call to action. So when they do get to your website, if they do get to your website, or if they're reading a flyer or something like that, it instructs them to join your mailing list for X reason. And that reason would be because you're going to provide them with some piece of content or some sort of value. Um, uh, you know, Download this and get this kind of thing. So yeah, exact contact. Yeah, exactly. So you could totally use that and try and I would say because not only are they more using email than social media, but email is a very intimate place. It's like the most yeah, it's the most intimate place on their kind of social. So, Facebook is a little bit more public and stuff, but email, it's their private inbox. And so if you can get into their private inbox, you got a lot of access to them directly. And that's not just for retirees, that's for anybody. So that advice kind of applies anywhere, I'd say. Awesome. My pleasure. Thanks for the great questions, Ross. Thank you for being here, guys. This was so fun, and we're going to do it again in a couple weeks. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please ask, and I will send you all the recordings of this webinar and the slides shortly after this, after I end this. So thank you so much, guys, and have an awesome day.